Okay, let's just get right into it. Have you spent most of your life being told that you are, well, too much? Too intense, too emotional. Maybe you're that person who feels things so deeply that you've been made to feel like there's something a little bit wrong with you. Well, we're going to dive into this because what if that flaw isn't a flaw at all? What if it's actually your greatest strength? And this right here, this is really the heart of it all, isn't it? So many of us spend just a massive amount of energy trying to turn down the volume on our own nervous system. We're constantly trying to fit into a world that just feels too loud, too fast, and way too harsh. We end up trying to hide who we really are, totally convinced it's a bug in our system and not, a feature. So, does any of this sound familiar? It's not just about being sad, it's about being so moved by a beautiful piece of music or a sunset that you actually tear up. It's that thing where you walk into a room and you can instantly feel the unspoken tension between people. And of course, the classic social hangover, where you need a full day to recover from a simple party. These aren't just little quirks, they're the hallmarks of a very specific and very real type of nervous system. So if this is you, I want you to hear me on this. You are not broken. Not at all. In fact, evolutionary biology has this really powerful explanation for why you are the way you are. And it reframes the whole thing not as a flaw, but as a crucial function for human survival. That's right. About 1 in 5 people, 20% of us, share this trait. You are part of a pretty significant minority with a nervous system that is just wired differently. This isn't some new age idea or a disorder. It's a legitimate, well-researched personality trait. So yeah, you are absolutely not alone in this. Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting. To survive, our ancestral tribes needed 2 types of people. You had the dandelions. They're the resilient majority, the warriors who could just move fast, push through anything. But think about it, a tribe of only warriors would probably walk straight off a cliff. The tribe also needed you, the orchid, the scout, the vanguard of awareness. Your nervous system processes the world in stunning 8K resolution, picking up on all the tiny, subtle details that everyone else just completely misses. Okay, so if this trait was such a huge survival advantage, why does it so often feel like a crushing liability today? Well, the answer is all about the environment. Your high-performance system, it just wasn't designed for the world we actually live in. Just think about it for a second. Your nervous system is optimized for a quiet forest, an environment where it's mostly silent, but you're on high alert. A single snapped twig could mean a predator is nearby, so your brain is designed to process that one sound, that one little piece of data, incredibly deeply. And this slide just perfectly illustrates the problem, right? You're not in a quiet forest. You're in a total hurricane of sensory input. Open plan offices, your phone buzzing with constant notifications, the nonstop traffic noise, and that 24/7 news cycle just flooding you with other people's emotions. Your brain doesn't have a filter for this kind of high-velocity chaos. It tries to process everything deeply, which leads directly to systemic overload. Your engine is just constantly redlining. So here's the crucial point. The answer isn't to just get tougher, to try and turn your orchid self into a dandelion. Honestly, that's impossible and it's completely exhausting. The real answer is to stop trying to survive on concrete and instead to intentionally build yourself a greenhouse. This concept is a total game changer. It's called vantage sensitivity. And what it means is that the very same trait that makes you suffer more in a negative environment is what allows you to thrive spectacularly in a positive one. So in the right conditions, inside your greenhouse, you don't just do okay. You bloom with a kind of creativity and depth that most people can't even touch. Okay, so how do we actually start building this greenhouse? Well, the first step is physical. We have to get really strategic about what you allow into your nervous system. The best way to think about it is like a diet, but for your senses. First things first, we've got to minimize the junk food. In a loud, chaotic world, noise-canceling headphones, they're not rude. They are personal protective equipment for your mind. Second, you have to find your restorative niche, a small, quiet space you can escape to for 5 minutes, just to reset. It's not about hiding, it's about preventing a total system crash. And finally, try the gray protocol on your phone. Turning the screen to grayscale totally removes that dopamine hit from colorful notifications and turns your phone back into a tool instead of a threat. But building your greenhouse isn't just about blocking out the bad stuff. You have to actively schedule in the good. For a highly sensitive person, beauty is basically functional medicine. It signals safety to your nervous system, So this means consciously seeking out visual nutrition like natural light, tactile nutrition like really soft fabrics, and auditory nutrition like calming sounds. These inputs actively replenish the energy that the world is constantly draining away. All right, we've covered the physical environment. Now let's talk about the psychological one. This is all about managing your interactions and protecting your internal world, which, let's be honest, is the hardest part for so many of us. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like you just absorbed someone else's anxiety? Yeah, that's the emotional sponge effect. Your mirror neurons, those are the brain cells that fire when you see someone else express an emotion. They're on overdrive. You don't just intellectually understand someone's feelings, you physically feel them in your own body. And it is incredibly draining. This is such a critical distinction. We're always taught that empathy, feeling with someone, is the ultimate goal. But for a highly sensitive person, that's like jumping into the water to drown right alongside them. Neuroscience actually shows that compassion, which is caring for someone, is different. It activates the reward centers in your brain. It's about standing safely on the shore so you're strong enough to actually throw them a rope. So to make that shift, you need a tool, a simple one. When you feel yourself absorbing someone else's distress, just use this internal script. I see your pain, but it is not mine. It's not cold. It's not uncaring. It's a psychological boundary that allows you to stay resourced enough to offer genuine, effective support instead of just getting pulled under yourself. Because you feel other people's disappointment so keenly, saying no can feel physically painful. And so you end up saying yes to everything until you completely burn out. The pause protocol is your shield. Your new default answer to any request is now, let me check my capacity and get back to you. This simple little phrase buys you the time your deep processing brain needs to override that impulse to please, and instead make a decision that actually honors your own energy levels. Really, what this all comes down to is this. The modern world wasn't built for you, but that doesn't mean you don't belong here. It just means you can't live on autopilot. You have to take control. You have to become the intentional architect of your environment, your relationships, and your entire life. And this right here is the ultimate promise. This whole thing isn't just about protecting yourself or hiding from the world. It's about creating the very conditions that unlock your vantage sensitivity. When you build your greenhouse, you don't just survive, you bloom. You bring a level of insight, creativity, and power to the table that is totally unique and, frankly, desperately needed. So I'll just leave you with this question. Don't try to build the whole thing overnight. What is the one small, concrete step you can take today, right now? Are you going to finally buy the headphones? Are you going to try the pause protocol just one time? What is the first brick you will lay for your greenhouse? Trust me, your future self will thank you for it.